The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. KBLA. Top 1580. Download the app.
Jesse Jackson Jr. Welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580. I'm humbled. I am excited that my professor is joining us. The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show, a man who really needs no introduction, but I am going to take my time and give him just that. Dr. Michael Eric Dyson is a distinguished professor, gifted writer, prominent media personality. He's taught at some of the nation's most prestigious universities, including Princeton, Brown, and Georgetown, and is currently Distinguished University Professor at Vanderbilt University. Dr. Dyson has authored over 25 books, including 7 New York Times bestsellers. He has won numerous awards for his literary achievements, including the 2020 Langston Hughes Medal, the American Book Award, and 2 NAACP Image Awards. In addition to his academic and writing pursuits, Dr. Dyson is also a leading public intellectual known for his thought-provoking insights on race, social justice, and contemporary culture. His books on figures such as Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, and Barack Obama have garnered widespread acclaim and sparked important conversations about race in America. Dr. Michael Eric Dyson, welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show.
My friend, it's always great to hang out with my star student, and it's great to be on your radio show today in such an urgent and necessary time as this.
You know, I appreciate that, Dr. Dyson, and thank you very much recently for joining me on the birthday edition of the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. Very surprising, and I was so honored that you were here. Dr. Dyson, before we get to some of the critical issues that are urgent in this hour, and I'm, of course, when we come forward after the break, give you great latitude to determine and share with our viewers and listeners what those issues are. Dr. Dyson, an amazing event last night at the Oscars, a movie that actually covered significantly the real estate of African Americans during the period of Jim Crow. And Coogler digs a little bit deeper, even into the cultural aspect in that juke joint scene. Dr. Dyson, the significance of Sinners against the backdrop of this culturally very difficult and discerning period. Michael Eric Dyson.
Yes, sir. So eloquently stated. And you're absolutely right. I just taught my class today on Beyonce, and we're focusing on Lemonade, that album, and the relationship in a feminist, viewpoint between the blues as legacy, as condition, as circumstance, and the conjure of the spirit evoked in Black female spirituality. So when we talk about the blues, we're talking about more than Bobby Blue Bland, though that's important, or B.B. King or Coco Taylor. We're speaking about a worldview where both the trauma and tragedy of Black America are juxtaposed to the humor and the resistance of our spirits, because the blues is a direct descendant of the spirituals in our tradition. And for Ryan Coogler to have an original screenplay, and he won the Oscar for that. I wish he would have won for both directing and the movie, but that's another story. That for him to craft that original screenplay and to imagine what it meant for Black people in a blues era to talk about the vampiric sucking of blood of whiteness, both emulating and then imitating and then sucking the blood from the culture, and the blues as both a cosmos, a worldview of resistance, and the insistence that we count our humanity seriously and we protect ourselves against both the external forces that would seek to undermine us and the internal ones that would seek to make us complicitous. To see that film win both for the screenplay and for for the original score, and for, I think it was obviously the best actor and one more, it was just extraordinary. And I'm so proud of Brother Coogler, and the relationship between Coogler and Michael B. Jordan is like Scorsese and, Robert De Niro. It's a beautiful and powerful relationship.
You know, when I stepped into Dr. Dyson's classroom for the first time, I just wanted a grade. But by the time I left, I decided I wanted to be a scholar and I wanted to be thoughtful. Thank you, Dr. Dyson, for all of that. Let me ask you a question. The setting of the movie in Jim Crow, Any significance there? Is there anything that we missed?
Absolutely. The point is that my pastor, Dr. Frederick George Sampson, the late great Dr. Sampson, said, we have already come through what we have come to. And what Jim Crow reminds us of is the fact that we passed through legal apartheid, the denial of opportunity. What made your father so special is that those libraries that refused to accommodate him had to later on, with pride, embrace him as a favored son of the region. And so Jim Crow is precisely the arena within which we're operating now, not formally, not legally, but we are seeing the rollback of the gains we've made. We are seeing an unapologetically bigoted supremacist presidency and his complicitous acolytes who are full of bigotry and bias, trying to literally take us back to the time of Jim Crow. It's a good time to remind us we survived that then, we will survive it now. But it is a reminder that racism presages fascism, that racism is a dry run for authoritarian belief and practice in this nation. And to set that in Jim Crow is to remind us that when we had no formal relief from the enormous trauma and suffering we endured, we were still able to generate alternatives to the denial and evisceration of our lives.
You know, Reverend, I was thinking that, and I know that we're going to be coming forward in just one minute, that the therapy associated with the blues, for those of us who might not have been able to address the trauma, the relief that we sought, we did find it in the blues.
Absolutely. I mean, been down so long, down, look up to me, right? The sense of history. Denise LaSalle, hey, lady, your husband is cheating on us. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, catch that. I'm cheating with him, but he's cheating on both of us, right? So the blues allowed the comedic intensity of Black response to trauma. Yo daddy had that gallows humor. Martin Luther King Jr. had that gallows humor. The blues are replete with that gallows humor, that in the midst of the hate and the harm we confront, we are able to combat that with a sense of joie de vivre, a sense of joy, and a sense of humor that is sometimes macabre to some, but it allows us to reclaim our humanity and to say, you will not roll us over, that we will reclaim our agency.
No one can do it better than the Honorable Dr. Michael Eric Dyson, one of the best and brightest that our community has ever produced. More on KBLA Talk 1580 when we come forward with Dr. Dyson.
It's afternoon drive time with Jesse Jackson Jr. Only on KBLA Talk 1580.
All the women who independent, throw your hands up at me.
This March, we're turning up the volume on the women who changed everything. KBLA Talk 1580 is proud to celebrate Women's History Month, honoring the trailblazers, truth tellers, and game changers who shaped our world, our culture, and our community. From the freedom fighters to the firsts, from the boardroom to the front lines, from the unsung to the unforgettable, all month long, we're celebrating the stories, the voices, and the conversations that remind us that women, Black women, have always led the way. Don't miss a moment. This is our moment. This is our story. Stay tuned to KBLA Talk 1580, Los Angeles' home for the conversations that matter.
I'm your girl, you're my girl, we your girls. Won't you know that we love you? Febreze.
New Febreze Air Mist has 50% more odor fighters and up to 30% more fragrance than the old formula. So now you can take on 100% more stinky odors, like sweaty gym bags, greasy cooking smells, and the after effects of the dog rolling around in something. Just spray, and new Febreze Air instantly restores just clean freshness. Smell you later, odor.
Free, happy, Febreze, la 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 la.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With the Capital One Venture X card, you earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy. Plus, you get premium benefits at a collection of luxury hotels when you book on Capital One Travel. And with Venture X, you get access to over 1,000 airport lounges worldwide. Open up a world of travel possibilities with the Capital One Venture X card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Warning, evacuation in progress. Leave the building.
It's a total takeover.
That's what I want.
On Friday, March 27th, KBLA Talk 1580 belongs to the women.
Are you ready?
All day long, from 6 in the morning to midnight, the mic belongs to powerful, accomplished women, and we are not letting go. Nothing but the voices of women who inspire, challenge, and move us forward. It's the women of KBLA Talk 1580, sun up to sundown. I'm Dominique DePrima, and I'll anchor the day with a 3-hour live panel from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. on the state of Black women in LA, followed by women talking to women all day long about the issues that matter most. Our hosts for the day include Jill Monroe, Adrian Shropshire, Dr. Melina Abdullah, Angela Reddick Wright, Raquel Graham, Angelique Francis, Tasha Thomas, Dr. Shalonda Crawford, Dion Raymond, and featuring special guest hosts Santita Jackson and Amanda Seals. This is Women's History Month, and we're not just celebrating it, we're amplifying it. Join us Friday, March 27th on KBLA Talk 1580, where women take over all day, all night. Stay tuned to KBLA Talk 1580 and all of our socials for the rundown. You don't want to miss a single word. And happy Women's History Month from all of us at KBLA Talk 1580.
To my ladies, I'll show you how to work that. Go.
You are the bomb.
We've got a lot to talk about.
Hi, I'm Zoe Williams, aka the Voice of Reason, encouraging you to join me weekdays from 7 to 9 p.m. for the world's most intriguing relationship radio roundtable. Every night, I facilitate and encourage our loyal listeners to participate in the most engaging relationship discussions you'll hear anywhere. So make it a point to rendezvous with me, Zoe Williams, the Voice of Reason, Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Trust me, your relationships will never be the same. The VOR is on fire tonight.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
Hi, I'm Dominique DePrima, KBLA Talk 1580 host and African Focus Incorporated cultural ambassador. You probably know by now.
You're listening to Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580.
The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. 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 King Polly, drop the beat. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. Welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580. In this hour, we have none other than the brilliant Michael Eric Dyson, who serves as a source of inspiration for many of us who'd like to think that we're intellectuals and think that we're scholars until we meet Dr. Dyson and we just sit down all day long taking notes. And after we repeat what he said, we don't give him credit for it, but it comes from Dr. Dyson. Before I go, before we take this journey into the larger issues for which I'd like you to take your time in this, our longest segment, I'm thinking about Beyond Vietnam and Dr. King's concern that many of the programs that he thought for a moment would lead to some social uplift, that the Congress of the United States was shifting its resources to the war in Vietnam. And when I heard some figures around $1 billion a day being spent in Iran, I couldn't help but think that now we're looking at not only beyond Venezuela, we're now looking at beyond Iran. Let me allow that, if you don't mind, Dr. Dyson, as your launching pad.
No, you're absolutely right. A brilliant analogy. More than $1 billion a day, but we can't support SNAP. We can't have health insurance reform. We can't provide people a safety net that won't be shredded by the vicious self-interest and the narcissistic preoccupations of the elites, the oligarchs, the people with cash who are concerned about other people with cash and how they hold on to that cash. And yet we are spending north of $1 billion a day to fight a war of choice. We weren't attacked by them. You were hoodwinked and bamboozled, to paraphrase to a degree what Malcolm X was saying some 60 odd years ago, by Netanyahu, who got you, who Biden refused, who Obama refused, and other presidents refused to become complicit in his war against Iran. And yet this president failed for it. And the funny thing, I mean, funny in the ironic and paradoxical sense, is that here's a guy who wants to be the president of peace, to end all wars, getting us involved in yet another war that has no end, that will eventually demand that we put troops on the ground, though it has been claimed that that will not be the case. Young people already suffering and many dying. This is antithetical to anything we think of as democratic, small d, in our country. And with the Republicans siding with him so that they don't even have to go to Congress, to this administration, to be able to get a kind of sign off on what's going on here, means that the narrow executive branch of the government is trying to be a dictator, is foisting upon the American public the belief that he can willy-nilly determine what is the good path for us to pursue without checking with the checks and balances. The extreme court is rubber stamping him, and Congress is basically giving him a rubber stamp as well. So we know that the executive administration of this country is being perpetuated by a figure who has no respect for law. So now we're spending billions of dollars. We're spending enormous funds that we don't have. And it is guns or butter. That is a zero-sum game, because the budget in this country is not infinite, which means you have to make a choice about what you spend those dollars on. And we have seen this president typically, characteristically, not want to spend money on helping the most vulnerable, but reinforcing the status of those who are at the top of the economic echelon.
So I've been hearing, especially since Mamdani's election and even the contest that I find myself engaged in, about these affordability issues, but I don't and have not heard the connection between, if you will, what you just said, which largely mirrors Dr. King's Beyond Vietnam and I think Beyond Venezuela and Beyond Iran. There is a direct correlation between the resources that are being spent in Iran and whether or not we pay $5 or $6 or $7 or $8 for 12 eggs.
There ain't no question about that. And isn't it interesting how you brilliantly allude to the fact that when he was up against Vice President Harris, we talking about the price of eggs. Them eggs done been broken. Them eggs done splattered. And dadgummit, you can't even make an omelet out of it. So the point is, because it done spilled on the floor, and you ain't gonna scoop it off the floor to put it in the skillet because it's all messed up. It's messy. And the reality is that you're right. There's a one-to-one correlation between the money you're spending there in Iran and the money you're not spending here. Like, what did the great Stevie Wonder say? Iraq, Iran? I mean, the point is, everything gonna be all right. No, we got to figure it out. We got to make it be all right. Don't you worry about a thing. We're worried about it because this president is incompetent and incapable of seeing the relationship between the two, the contradiction between wanting to be the peace president and, on the other hand, starting wars. That's why he's given up on, well, I don't need the Nobel Prize for Peace anymore. I guess not, because you keep starting wars. And those who were concerned about the price of eggs, or now what gas is certainly going to cost you at the pump, have to point out the contradictions. At the end of the day, here is a president who said he was going to save the bottom line, but he's saving it for the rich people, the tech bros who are getting paid, Peter Thiel and Elon Musk and all of them. And we see that in Beyond Vietnam, Martin Luther King Jr. indicted himself. He said, you wouldn't have found my name on America's most heroic figures and the greatest people to lead us, but I had to come to the point where I had to speak out because silence was complicity. And we need the same kind of refusal to become complicitous in this government when all the money we're spending that we're supposed to be saving is now being short. We're being short shrifted, And this president is trying to bamboozle us by making us believe that what he is doing is best for this nation. And indeed, the slippery slope of the oil upon which this capture of Iran rests ain't going to be easy, because you ain't fighting a war that's going to be easily won with people that you're creating a generation of people who will hate America. It's the long-term effect and not simply the short-term effect that is at risk here and at stake in our country.
Dr. Dyson, thank you for that. Let me say that the Democratic primary process, where we're battling the issues of affordability, the local economy, oftentimes these issues are not coming up. We already know what the general election looks like.
Right.
MAGA has tolerated this behavior unaccountably in the House of Representatives and in the Senate, but I don't hear the Democratic voices challenging the behavior either in the Democratic primary process. Are there consequences for not dealing with these issues at this stage of the contest for Democrats who want to regain control of the Congress for the purposes of accountability?
Absolutely. Because they're going to figure, look, why are we going to get you in there? The dude's already in there doing what they're doing. We don't need people to emulate and imitate them. If you're going to do the same thing, let's leave the original thugs in. We don't need fake thugs. We don't need studio gangsters. We need the real ones, right? We want Al Capone, not Snoop Dogg. So the point is that thing. Let's stick with the original. At least they know what they're doing. They got competence as thugs. We are spineless. We are feckless, visionless, and voiceless. Why don't we speak up and out? We've got to tell the truth. I'm here in Tennessee. Bro, they trying to pass bills to literally have the ability to execute women, to give them the death penalty for having an abortion. This is the madness and lunacy. Where are the Democrats speaking up and out? And as you say, in these primaries, where we too have to prove to the American people that we are worthy of your vote. Remember, to link what you said before to now, Lyndon Baines Johnson, LBJ, not LeBron James, y'all. I know y'all think LBJ has been playing for 23 years and now with the Lakers for 8 years. Not him. There's another guy who was an LBJ named Lyndon Baines Johnson. And he said, if you can prove to the poor white folk that they are as good as the black person, you can pick their pocket. He said, heck, if you prove they're greater than all the Negroes, then they'll pick their pockets for you. This is what we see. They are pulling their cash out and putting it on the table and saying, what can we do? Let me give up all my resources. And as Democrats, we have to be sensitive to those figures who are out here, even the MAGA people, even the people we find morally reprehensible because they sided with this president. They are desperate too. What programs and projects do we have for working people across the board? What can we prove our mettle by? By showing that we're willing to deal with affordability issues. This dude ain't helping you afford nothing. This dude is not making it possible for you to really have more money at the time you get paid and the ability to help your family. So we have to make the morally compelling argument that the very ideals that MAGA has put forth, they ain't living up to. And those who are Democrats say, we want to give you more of your check. We want to spread more of your resource out. We want more of y'all to be able to go to college. We want more of y'all to be able to afford things. Y'all don't snap more than us. So when you make these snap decisions, remember, it's poor white folk who are at stake as well. When we convince them of that, then I think we have a better chance to prevail.
My experience has been thus far in this re-engagement in the process has been that the Voting Rights Act districts have this huge blue swath on the maps since the redistricting process, but they also have a large red area that is ever expanding because of challenges to the Voting Rights Act. And what I'm trying to glean from you, Professor, is what the language is that allows us to communicate effectively with our base and communicate with the MAGA base without being double jointed, having a different message in one sermon over here and a different sermon over here. Help me and help Democrats, if you might. I don't know anyone who knows the English language better than you. How do we do that with integrity?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, it's a brilliant point. Your daddy was the master of this. that he could tell them stories. Like, let me tell you the story he told was, and I'm sure you've heard this story before. He said a chicken and an egg walking down the street, and they discussing, hey, let's make a contribution for breakfast. The chicken just had to give up the egg. The pig got to give up his, you know what, right? So this.
That's the ham and egg. That's the ham and egg story.
Come on, doctor. He said that ain't equal, bro. That ain't equal.
It sounds equal. It's a ham and egg sandwich.
Come on, doc, and we the pig up in the story. So how do we stop being the pig and be the chicken, right? So we want to lay eggs, not lay our behinds. So the thing is, you tell poor white folk, we are not your enemy. We are not the opposition. We're in the same boat as you. What did Dr. King say? He retold it in, I think, his letter from a Birmingham jail. He's in jail in Birmingham, and the poor white people are coming up to him. Dr. King, you're wrong. He said, no, I'm not. I'm right. They're going back and forth. Finally, what did Dr. King say? How much money do you make? And when that poor white jailer told him, hell, you need to be out here marching with us. So Dr. King was saying, we in the same boat, bro. And so when we can make the argument, the compelling argument that we can appeal to our base by saying, we know what we're suffering. We know what deficits we face. We know that the Voting Rights Act is being rejiggered by a conscienceless constitution of court members who really would rather seek to undermine us than protect that. But we can tell poor white people too, it ain't just us though. When they start making the ability to vote by federalizing and nationalizing as they want to do, and then you can't vote on a Sunday, you can't vote on weekends, you can't vote with the kind of voter registration sold to the polls, y'all are at stake too. If we can make that compelling argument, we could do it.
I need you to hold on 1 second. Democrats, I hope you're listening. I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. That's a compelling argument from Dr. Michael Eric Dyson. More on KBLA Talk 1580 when we come forward with the brilliant Dr. Michael Eric Dyson.
It's afternoon drive time with Jesse Jackson Jr. Only on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Esther Dillard with BIN News Now. Democratic Congressional House Leader Hakeem Jeffries is seeking to force a vote on legislation that would reopen the Department of Homeland Security. However, Jeffries said the discharge petition would fund most of DHS except for ICE and CBP. Here's the Black Democrat talking about the measure a few days ago on MS Now.
And Republicans are blocking legislation that would fund the other aspects of DHS while we work this situation out in terms of getting ICE under control.
Cuba's electrical grid has suffered a total collapse. That's according to the island nation's power operator. Around 10 million people are without power. The blackout is the first since the U.S. shut off the flow of oil to Cuba. And millions of Americans are dealing with a coast-to-coast blast of extreme weather. A powerful system is bringing blizzard conditions to the Midwest, damaging winds to the east and dangerous heat in the west. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Visit Hard Rock Casino Tejon for the $500,000 Luck of the Irish BMW drawing. Drawings every Thursday in March. Hard Rock Casino Tejon, the closest casino to downtown LA. The excitement starts here at the new Hard Rock Casino Tejon.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
Is this the title?
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Tennessee State is the only HBCU school that earned an automatic spot in the first round of the NCAA men's basketball tournament. Tennessee State won the Ohio Valley Conference tournament. They were given the number 15 seed in the Midwest Regional. Tennessee State's first round game is Friday against number 2 seed Iowa State. 2 other HBCU schools have a chance to get into the NCAA men's tournament, but they have to go through the play-in round to get there. Howard, champions of the MEAC tournament, play Maryland-Baltimore County Tuesday night. The winner advances to a first-round game on Thursday against Michigan, the number 1 seed in the Midwest. SWAC champion Prairie View A&M plays Lehigh on Wednesday. The winner moves into the first round Friday to play Florida, the number 1 seed in the South Regional. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
Hi, I'm Zoe Williams, aka the voice of reason, encouraging you to join me weekdays from 7 to 9 p.m. for the world's most intriguing relationship radio roundtable. Every night, I facilitate and encourage our loyal listeners to participate in the most engaging relationship discussions you'll hear anywhere. So make it a point to rendezvous with me, Zoe Williams, the voice of reason, Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Trust me, your relationships will never be the same. The VOR is on fire tonight.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
Hi, I'm Dominique DePrima, KBLA Talk 1580 host and African Focus Incorporated cultural ambassador. You probably know by now that every year our two organizations team up to lead a trip to the motherland. This June will be our 8th African Focus Trailblazers Tour, and it's not too late to join us. But if you've been thinking of going with us, now is the time to sign on before prices go up. Our current deadline is March 20th. Join us as we travel to a country widely considered one of Africa's most underrated destinations, Zambia, home to the towering Victoria Falls and the bustling capital city, Lusaka. Enjoy a visit to Botswana, known for its pristine natural beauty and stunning Southern African wildlife. We travel in comfort with luxury accommodations, a variety of fun activities, and delicious dining. We do service with charitable work at a school and an orphanage, and we expand our horizons with cultural and historical excursions. To sign up now before our March 20th deadline, please call African Focus Incorporated at 310-676-7300. That's 310-676-7300. Or check out africanfocus.org. Whether it's in the community or traveling the globe, we move as family. African Focus and KBLA Talk 1580. Let's go.
You're listening to Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580.
The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. 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 King Volley, drop the beat. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to
KBLA Mountain Mondays on the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show, and our very special guest is none other than Dr. Michael Eric Dyson. Dr. Dyson, I really felt some type of way about cutting off my professor in the middle of his profound thought. Welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show.
Thank you, sir. I mean, first of all, you got to do what you got to do. Your professor's running his mouth. You got to cut him off. Doc, hold on, bro. We'll be right back.
That ain't happening. I started to text Tavis. Tavis, please don't let me cut the professor off. Hey, check this out, Dr. Dyson, though. But you were making some compelling points about how we communicate with the MAGA crowd in these very diverse congressional districts, states, and in this space. And I thought it was very, very compelling. I want to give you an example that I need your help with. When I was campaigning Kamala Harris in Pennsylvania, my truck broke down. So I'm stuck in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and I'm sitting in the lobby bar. Wasn't pretty much else to do in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, other than hang around the lobby bar, but there was a football game on. And what animated the crowd wasn't the football game, and it was a great game. What animated the crowd were the commercials in between the football game, when they showed members of our coalition, people that we embrace, the LGBTQ community, for example, and these transgendered athletes would either be out swimming young girls or dunking on 8th grade girls in elementary school. And the animation from the people in the room was like, I mean, the language changed to hostility at Democrats. because of the way those images were coming across and animating the crowd in what should have been an animated football game. And I'm wondering the language, Doc, that allows us as Christians to continue to embrace people and their differences, but at the same time, how we communicate that they have a right to belong no differently than anyone else has a right to belong in the coalition and in the great fabric that is America. But the way in which it was presented, Doc, I get the ham and egg justice.
Right.
But I'm thinking about Democrats who don't give as much thought to this as you do on how to keep people voting and consistent with their economic interests around the fold to regain control of Congress and these legislative bodies across the country. Help me, Dr. Dyson, with that compelling message.
Yeah, well, nobody is, you're brilliant about this because you're about to go back to Congress after being out for a minute. You coming back. Don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years. So what's interesting is that, look, let's compare this to Black people dating white folk, right? This is the kind of same paranoia. It's hard for y'all to think about this, but oh my God. Remember Dr. King said, we're not trying to be your brother-in-law, just your brother. Well, some trying to be the brother-in-law, dog. So the thing is, oh no, they tried to be the brother-in-law. They tried to be up there with mama, and they tried to get up all in the family. So, pun intended, with Carol O'Connor. So here's the thing. The paranoia that white people felt, these Negroes want to go to school with us. All right, the same outrage that we see against trans people, let me just stake it out for us here first, was the same paranoia against Negroes going to school with white folk, against Black folk marrying white folk, and the like. Let's just be honest about that, number one. Number two, we got to ask, do you want the commercial or the product? Which one you want? Do you want to get what you want to get without everybody telling everybody everything you're doing? You can't announce everything you're doing and get what you want, because we're in a very tight bubble where if it's presented in a certain way, this is why they were hammering Vice President Kamala. They were running those messages about the Democrats just want a girl to be beat by a boy who has an unfair advantage over you. Now, we know that's poppycock. We know it's a very small percentage of trans athletes involved in these sports. However, let me say this. We have to, on the left and progressive side, be strategic about how we communicate our message. And sometimes we got to admit we don't know. Now, I don't know all the ins and outs about trans women and participation in sports that seems patently unfair. If you've been a male for 16, 17 years of your life, 18 years of your life, and then you now claim rightfully as a woman, you make a transition or you undergo the chemical and the neurobiological transformation, and you are now a woman, if you still retain certain physical characteristics that allow you to have an advantage over women who are, quote, born women, we got to deal with that. That's not, we got to honestly acknowledge that might be an issue. Could we have trans games the same way we have those who are other abled? Those who are other abled have games. Boys don't compete against girls in the usual universe of things. So we have to be reasonable and honest. Now, if we seek the answer and find the answer through science, through telling us this is a small percentage, this ain't a whole bunch, then we have to acknowledge that. But we can't pretend that it doesn't make sense to us, just as a commonsensical matter, for somebody who's been a man to now be a woman who now will compete with an unfair advantage. What's the answer? We got to tell the truth about it. And when we come up with that answer, we've got to be willing to abide by it. So we hold in control for the bigotry and bias we should put aside. But at the same time, we want justice and fairness to prevail, and we've got to balance that out.
So there's this truth that we have to tell in arriving at that message, an acknowledgement that there may be unfair, and there are, in many cases, unfair advantages. But then there's also the standard set by the architects, the 14th Amendment, and equal protection of the laws for all. And so you carve out this space, which might be the trans games. It carves out this space that there might be restrooms and showers for transgendered individuals who shouldn't be in a shower with young girls. One could argue, or vice versa, in a shower room with young men, because of that particular identification. And that's okay, is what you're saying.
I'm saying, yeah, until we hear a better look, I'm open to an argument that says, Dyson, you sound like a 1950s bigot who was against something that 20 years later he regretted. I admit that. I admit that that might be possible. But until such time that we are shown what those restrictions are that make sense to us morally, economically, and politically, then we have to hold out for the fact we could be wrong. We want to do the right thing, but let's find the right route to it. And we don't want to be unfair. Look, trans people can be homophobic. They can be sexist and patriarchal. Black people can be sexist and patriarchal. Just because we are a minoritized population doesn't mean that we have the ideal pathway toward what is just. So we have to be self-critical here. And we can't reactionarily react by saying everybody who wants to challenge the legitimacy of a particular pursuit within trans communities is automatically transphobic. Can't do that. We have to be open to and honest about those limitations that are placed upon us, not simply for political expediency, not just to win an election, but to do the right thing and to behave in a way that will honor trans humanity while also honoring the fairness of practice within our communities.
I hope everyone's listening and taking notes, because we're trying to arrive at the language necessary to communicate and bridge some profound gaps that exist in our society, so much so that I know at the top of the next hour, the end of our show, Dr. Dyson is going to offer us his 3-minute word of hope. But I do want to continue this question of the compelling message. I had the privilege, along with members of my family, in light of Dad's expiration, to attend the State of the Union as guests of Hakeem Jeffries. And I saw something that I hadn't seen in 17 years in Congress, Dr. Dyson. I saw men and women, predominantly on the MAGA side of the aisle, standing and clapping and standing and clapping. I heard very little substantively from the President of the United States. And I thought, I did not see for a moment, and maybe this is the case, a bipartisan arrangement where dialogue like the one that we're having right now is taking place, or when we had dialogue in your classroom. I thought I saw a cult, Dr. Dyson. I thought I saw a cult of personality. I'd like to talk with you about that when we come forward. I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. More with the brilliant Dr. Michael Eric Dyson when we come forward. Democrats, I hope you're listening.
While you're stuck in traffic, we can at least bring you up to speed on the news of the day. You're listening to Jesse Jackson Jr. only on KBLA Talk 1580.
Hey LA, spring into savings with a special offer from LADWP. Now through March 31st, get a Flume device for free. What's a Flume? It's an easy-to-install home water monitor and leak detector that helps you catch leaks early and track water use. Don't wait. Order your free Flume before March 31st at ladwp.com/FLUME. That's ladwp.com/FLUME.
Carpal tunnel syndrome, heart failure that doesn't improve with common medicines. These are some signs and symptoms associated with ATTR-CM, or the cardiomyopathy of ATTR amyloidosis, a serious heart condition with symptoms that get worse over time. Amvuttra, vutrisiran, is a prescription medicine given by a healthcare provider that treats ATTR-CM in adults to reduce heart-related death, hospital stays, and urgent visits. In a clinical study, Amvuttra was proven to help people live longer and have fewer heart-related hospital stays and urgent visits over 3 years compared to placebo. Amvuttra lowers the amount of vitamin A in your blood, which can affect vision. Other side effects include pain in the arms or legs, pain in the joints, and shortness of breath. These are not all the possible side effects of Amvuttra. For prescribing information, call 1-833-256-2748 or learn more at amvuttra.com. Ask your doctor about Amvuttra for ATTR-CM.
Old-fashioned soul. Where you eating at? Hi, I'm Greg Doolin, inviting you to a special celebration of Women's History Month. Join KBLA Talk 1580 for its annual symposium, The State of Black Women in LA. Broadcast live from Doolin's Soul Food on Crenshaw. Friday, March 27th, 6 a.m. to 9 a.m., moderated by Dominique DePrima. And yes, breakfast is just $15.80. Come get fed twice. Your stomach and your mind will thank you. We'll see you Friday morning, March 27th, 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. at Doolin Soul Food on Crenshaw for the State of Black Women in LA. Broadcast live only on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. 10 Toes In serves as a mentorship and domestic violence prevention program. They support, educate, and empower couples during and after incarceration. They assist male returning citizens to re-enter society successfully and to help them maintain a healthy relationship with their romantic partner. They offer a mentorship support group for formerly incarcerated men. 10 Toes In teaches its Intimate Relationships 101 curriculum at male prisons throughout the state of California. They host sister support group meetings for women who are intimately involved with incarcerated and formerly incarcerated men. 10 Toes In is a 501c3 nonprofit organization. To access their services or make a donation, please visit them online at 10toesin.org or find them on Facebook or Instagram. They are healing lives through relationships. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
I can't believe how spotless my floors look after using the Swiffer Power Mop. No more dragging around a heavy mop and messy bucket. Now I get the same deep clean without all the work. Thanks to the powerful solution and scrubbing pad of the Swiffer Power Mop, dirt and grime don't stand a chance, and I don't break a sweat. Mic drop. Mop drop.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
A smarter way to mop. Try it or your money back.
He's the son of a school teacher and Navy veteran who built a company worth billions and walked away from it. Tom Steyer, pledging to give away half of everything he earned to charity and fight for Californians. So when out-of-state corporations weren't paying their fair share of taxes, Tom Steyer led the fight for Prop 39 and won, earning California billions of dollars for our schools. Tom took on big oil to stop them polluting our air and water and smash them. Tom fought for free school lunches so no child goes hungry. Tom Steyer, strong enough to take on the special interests crushing us with the cost of living. As governor, Tom will stop Wall Street from buying up middle-class homes, lower utility rates by 25%, and ban corporate PAC money from our politics. Other politicians talk. Tom Steyer gets it done. Ad paid for by Steyer for Governor 2026.
Now back to more of Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580.
The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. 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 King Volley, drop the beat. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. Welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580. Our very special guest is none other than Dr. Michael Eric Dyson, distinguished professor, gifted writer, prominent media personality. He's taught at some of the nation's most prestigious universities, including Princeton, Brown, and Georgetown, and is currently a distinguished university professor at Vanderbilt University. Dr. Dyson, welcome forward to the final segment of the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show.
Thank you, sir. It's great to be here. What an
Dr.
honor.
Dyson, I leave 3 minutes at the top of our show for our guests to offer a word of hope. Doc, but let me take, before we get to that point, let me raise this question because I think you're helping a lot of us in Dr. Michael Eric Dyson's classroom on compelling messages to communicate to the other side. Before the break, I was sharing with you that I had the honor of attending the State of the Union address, but I saw something that was different. Your classroom, when I was in college with you, I remember the dialogue being open. You had to bring some smoke now or had to know what you were talking about or you'd get it handed back to you. But it was a welcome dialogue and a welcome debate. I saw a cult, Dr. Dyson, of personality where the The substance wasn't there. It wasn't policy driven. It was thus saith the president, thus saith the Lord. And everybody kind of fell in line. Democrats remained in their seats. They didn't engage it. And it just seems that under and in this cult of personality, the very dialogue that you're encouraging, which I find particularly compelling and I think very helpful to those of us who are trying to find the language to fight. Doc, help me with the cult of personality. How do we fight with a cult and in a cult of personality?
That's a great point. The first thing is to acknowledge that all of us have been subject to that across the ideological spectrum, a continuum on either side. We've had figures. For instance, in our own community, when the great President Barack Obama was in office, it was difficult to get any purchase on critique, not nastiness. We ain't down for that. Not the hatefulness. We ain't down with that. But legitimate critique to say, hey, we might disagree with President Obama on this. And yet it was very difficult to find that space. It was very difficult to find it.
If you criticized him, you may not have seen yourself in a cult of personality, but that's exactly what the reaction was. You were challenging the cult of personality on the other side of the ideological spectrum. Thank you for bringing that to our attention, Dr. Dyson.
I mean, it would be similar, and I know this would never happen, say at the funeral of a beloved figure who died, and some presidents spoke, and then the son of this beloved figure said, hey, the presidents didn't know this figure as well as his daughter, let her speak. But also there's a critical difference between political realities, which need to be uplifted, and the prophetic demand that criticizes all politics, even those on your side. See, for reference, Martin Luther King Jr. Speaking out against Vietnam War, where LBJ, who was his friend, was the recipient of his critique. So the cult of personality is on both sides. Now, the reason we know it so well on the other side, because we done had it on our side. So let's be honest about it.
That's
and
true.
When we see it on the other side, we have to be honest and say, bro, all you people who are concerned about justice, about the Constitution, about the Declaration of Independence, about the Bill of Rights, about the credo of the country, e pluribus unum, out of many one, y'all done gave all that up because you are now deferring to this MAGA mentality that demands total betrayal of the ideals for which you had been willing to die in deference to pleasing this oligarch, this authoritarian, this dim-witted dictator, this foolish fascist. You have done so in the name of a kind of worship of this figure, a kind of cult of personality of the Trumpian order, and you done gave up everything that would made you worth your salt. I don't want to hear nothing from these people when that man is out of office and they try to tell us and reprove us because it's based upon the Constitution. You don't care about the Constitution. The real religion in America is whiteness for so many white brothers and sisters. The real political ideal is whiteness. The pursuit of that is very clear now with Stephen Miller and working along with Donald Trump in terms of the resurgence and recrudescence of white supremacy as the basis of America, American policy, American self-identity. So yeah, how we do it, we are self-critical. We look in the mirror and say, all of us should say, not my mother, not my father, but it's me, oh Lord, standing in the need of prayer. And we have to be self-critical so we can be critical of others as well.
Very powerful, Dr. Dyson. Dr. Dyson, would you be kind enough to bless us with a word of hope on the final 3 minutes of our program?
A man who was an inspiration to your father, who was an inspiration to me, Howard Thurman, said the following, and I'm paraphrasing: refuse the temptation to scale down your dreams to the event which you are now confronting. That event could be divorce. That event could be disagreement about politics. That event could be struggling in school. Whatever it is, Howard Thurman said, do not let that event exhaust your imagination about how you can respond. He said the following. He said, you're going to be either a prisoner of the event or you're going to be a prisoner of hope. And he said, the reason I choose to be a prisoner of hope is because our slave foremothers and forefathers imagined a different world beyond what we were able to see. And in imagining that world, they put forth an ideal that would never be realized in their time, but hope would deliver it on the wings of the morning. And so I choose to be a prisoner of hope. The hope that says, no matter what we're dealing with now, this ain't gonna last always. The other side ain't God. They have not seen God resign, which means God is still on the throne. Now, I disagree with people who say God put my man in, but didn't put your man in. Either God puts everybody in or God puts nobody in. I happen to believe God doesn't put anybody in office. We do. God gives us the criteria. I want somebody just. I want somebody fair. I want somebody that cares for the poor. We have to make up our minds as to who that person is. Don't blame God when the person who shows up ain't doing the right thing. And don't try to justify God doing your man or your woman a favor by putting them in. We do the work. So we are prisoners of the hope that says we will not be exhausted by what we see. And I end by saying this. Howard Thurman also said the following. You can go to the Atlantic Ocean. You can dip your glass in the Atlantic Ocean. It may be full of the Atlantic Ocean, but it ain't all the Atlantic Ocean. None of us has all the truth. Even if we're full of truth, we don't have all the truth. Be humble, recognize the need for self-reflection and criticism, and meet others where they are to take this nation where it needs to be.
Man, oh man, oh man. Dr. Michael Eric Dyson, thank you so much for blessing all of us. I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. Thank you so much, Doc.
Thank you for having me, my friend.
Until we come forward tomorrow, it will be election day in the state of Illinois. I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. More on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.